Bitcoin is heavily overbought on the relative strength index, pushing towards 100,000. And most likely it will break it because crypto as stocks and indices can push very hard while being overbought. But when the correction comes, and it will come, this crypto may find its support already at $95,000, then at $90,000, and in worst case it will be $75,000. But the trend is very, very strong. Everything is indicating that Bitcoin is far from done in this rally, and if Bitcoin is rallying, then you can guess all other cryptos will follow. Personally, I had a very, very nice journey with crypto lately. As you know, if you follow this podcast, I invested even more when crypto fell back, Bitcoin to $30,000. You're listening to the StockInvest.us podcast, Trading Tips with Jim, as we're heading into week 48. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe and like. Last week was a good week, I would say, for Nasdaq. Nasdaq up 1.73%, ending the week at 19,004 points. Dow Jones had a good week as well, up 196 for Dow Jones, ending the week at 44,297 points. After the previous red week, it was again a green week, and if we look at the buy and the sell signals, it indicates that it may very well continue. Dow Jones showing the same like Nasdaq in very, very good trend, strong support below, and that argues for continuous upturn. But last week we learned how unpredictable things are. As you know, I said after Trump won, gold should probably go down to $2,200 before turning up again, because we were not done with all the issues in the world. But last week, Biden said that Ukraine can use long distance rockets into Russia, and that pushed gold upwards. Gold is now pushing again towards new all-time high. And my goal of 3,500, which I thought would be very delayed. I thought that we would have, because Trump won the election, and we would get into the peace and we will get into prosperity, that gold would fall a little bit back and later just slowly gain up towards my $3,500 target. But seeing that the current administration want to leave a hammock and chaos before next president, gold is pushing upwards, and I have to reiterate the words that I said. I believe gold will just continue upwards because nobody knows what the next sentences from the White House will be, and that causes for uncertainty, and when there is uncertainty, gold will have all the ground it needs to continue to grow. So from being neutral on gold, I'm back on the positive side, and I think that there is a huge upside, even short term now, more than ever. I thought that everything was done, the election was done, and now we will head towards more calm periods. We will see all the different conflicts in the world start to slow down. And there were signs that they absolutely were. I mean, Zelensky himself said that he thinks that there will be a peace agreement within 25, but then again we are on the same roll, which have been the tune for the last 4 years, increasing geopolitical issues. I am in gold, so I should be happy about it. I bought gold when gold was 1,600 and urged all of you to do the same, as it was a obvious very good buy. There is no really obvious good buys in the market as I see it, because most stocks compared to PE is on a relative high price range. But market doesn't care what I think. It can just push upwards and upwards and upwards. There are some cracks, but for instance, stocks very close to support that may bounce up already this week. AMD is one of them. Crux is another one, and Serious Logic is the third one. All of these, and eBay, by the way, all of these are hitting support levels with a good chance of pushing up if you love technical analysis. Nasdaq being in a rising trend, have very nice support below, have also some resistance above 19,600 is hard to push, but again, volume is following the index, that's a very good sign, and argues actually for yet another green week. If we look at the buy and the sell signals, we can clearly see that they increased last week, but come again, markets were up. Across all the tickers that we analyzed, 31% is holding a buy signal. That is not overbought, it's not oversold, it's just in the middle of the tree, and I see the same in the chart. If you go to our webpage stockinvest.us and you type in Exig, for instance, you can see the Nasdaq chart, and you will see that it's just in the middle of a rising trend, and the buy signals for Nasdaq, for instance, went up from 11 to 19, which is the same. It's not overbought, it's not oversold, it's in a good place, I would say, and the uptick from last week is also good. New York Stock Exchange, however, is more overbought, 40% buy signals from Nasdaq. We know that in week 46, three weeks ago, it was at 41, and I said that was somewhat high, and the following week in week 40, this was week 45, in week 46 Nasdaq fell 3.14% and Dow Jones 1.24%. Will the same thing happen? Will New York Stock Exchange fall and pull Nasdaq alongside? Not sure about it. In general, the volume looks much better this time than it did in week 45. Going to London, London up from 18 to 27% buy signals. Frankfurt up at 39, Tokyo 31, Shenzhen, China 33, and National Stock Exchange of India up from 12 to 15. National Stock Exchange of India, by the way, is in a falling trend and will probably most likely struggle to get back on a rising trend anytime soon. But India have been doing very well for a super long time. Maybe you remember I told you that BART Hexagon would be a good Indian stock to get into. Well, that one went up more than 60% on the tip. I haven't checked how it's doing lately, but in general the market is struggling, so I don't think there is much upside in most stocks. It will have to find a solid bottom, and then again the Indian market will be a place where you might want to put some bet if you can. Sum up the signals, they are starting to get high, but not overbought. We can be in a position where we actually will surf in towards Christmas on higher notes all the time. But again, all this uncertainty, these geopolitical issues, they can come out of the blue and market can tank very heavily. Same will go for crypto. What is up during the week? Well, Best Buy first today. Zoom will have their quarter results, and I'm not sure how Zoom will do. Zoom was a company that grew during COVID when everyone had to work from home. Personally, I don't think there is much upside in these things moving forward. They took out most of the heavy lifting in the very beginning. Tomorrow will be Best Buy. Best Buy is expected to swing 6% plus minus for the swing. So that's maybe if you get the bet right, you can do some money in Best Buy. CrowdStrike will also come tomorrow. Macy's will come. Manchester United, if you are a football fan, and Workday will also come. Wednesday will be the most interesting day in my opinion. Then we will have personal consumption expenditure numbers, and they are expected to come in at 2.8%, being above the Fed inflation target of 2%. And these things will more or less, if they come in as expected, cement the fact that the interest rates will not be cut as fast as it seemed for some time. We know that low interest rates is good for the stock market, by the way. That's the correlation. Thursday will be Thanksgiving, and US markets will be closed before we're heading in for crazy Black Friday, etc. So all in all, it will be somewhat quite weak. I think the week will start to pick up from where it was last week, and meaning that it might very well start on some decent streak in the beginning of the week. Wednesday, there will be some adjustments. The biggest issue I have right now is all this uncertainty. And sorry to repeat that, but these things, they will hammer the market if there's any sign that things starts to go out of control. And we see this in how oil, for instance, oil went up $5 last week. Gold went up $103 or 3.4% to 2,670 currently sitting there. These are just all signs, and even people are flocking to Swiss and yen, Swiss currency and yen, because it's considered more safe items if things really start to go bad. And it just takes one very, very stupid decision to send some of these rockets too far into Russia. Russia already said that we are not playing, we will not back down. And I have no reason to believe that Russia will back down. If you bite the dog, it might bite back. And they already several times have changed their nuclear workbook, making it, I would say, a little easier to push the bottom that can cause things to go so really bad south. We just have to wait, hope that the politicians starts to get to some sense, that we can find a way at least to get some dialogue, because that will argue for strong and good markets. You are here to make money. You are trying to listen to this podcast to get some tips. And what I'm trying to say is that given the current situation, being in oil stocks, being in gold, being in war is still very hot. I'm sorry that I, after the Trump election, was a little fast on the trigger. After saying this for 4 years and seeing such good gains, was a little fast on the trigger to say that now maybe we should start to get out a little, because I totally forgot that there is still 2 months left of this period, which means that part of your portfolio should be in safer assets, gold being one of them. Oil seems to me to be holding steady, because if something breaks out, then we will be in desperate need of oil, and we see it in the oil prices. So these are and the war stocks, of course, because the world will arm up. And I argued also that last week that the dividend will be very, very nice in these stocks moving forward. The stock price may not move as much upwards. I know a few of you are from Norway, you're listening every week for the podcast. And Kongsberg Automotive, which was recommended, I believe I did it 3 years ago, I told you to get in because they will go up. And look at the increase in price. You have quadrupled your money if you went into the stock. Everything indicates that it will continue for some time more, maybe not in the same speed, but there will still be a good choice. If markets tank due to geopolitical issue, it doesn't matter what kind of stock you are in, everyone will take a fall, but some will take a less fall. That I believe will be maybe the best tip I can give you today is adjust your portfolio. I know a few of you personally sending me mails, sending me messages. Some of you are only into penny stocks being a stock under $1, but remember, these are penny stocks for a reason. Yes, you can make a lot of money, but you can also lose a lot of money. I argue for penny stocks only to be money you are willing to lose. Yes, it's a nice play when they are working, but indeed it's bad when they really go south, and penny stocks tends to move a lot faster than original stocks. So I would say keep 30% in penny stocks and gamble hard, but make sure that you have capital in more safe stocks so you can continue the game, because if there will be bad days, good days will follow, and I always take the opportunities when the markets are really bad. I start buying again. Currently sitting only 30% in stocks. The rest is divested elsewhere. Either it is lending, gold, crypto, or just sitting in the bank waiting. I am not too overly optimistic about the market. I don't take the huge chance. Yes, I may lose out of something. What else to say? 10-year treasury yield sitting at 441 argues for the same thing, that investors are not sure that interest rates will be cut as much. Make sure to pay attention on Wednesday what will numbers be, because these things will paint the picture moving forward, and we have to try to be in the best trends. Well, I remember I read somewhere that the boss of IKEA said that they haven't seen such huge change in customer behavior since the financial crisis of 2008. He says that the consumer going to IKEA, they are changing their behavior, totally going over to only necessities. He hasn't seen, as I said, anything similar like 2008. Will this be the first sign? We had some changes, of course, in other consumer industries, but will this maybe be the first big sign? I don't know. Open the newspapers and you only read that everything is perfect. Unemployment is low, economies are good. So I really do not know. Everything tells me that there will be, and I see more and more people talking about a recession. So for the week ahead of us, I believe it's a fair chance Nasdaq will continue upwards. I think there will be a pickup opportunity in several stocks. I would go for stocks close to support with good accumulated support volume below. Preferably sitting on a round number or a half number, 1050, like things like this, often good, or full round number like 10, 15, 50. Try to find stocks that follow these, and I think that you can do fairly good in the week ahead of us. 17 minutes, I promised myself it would not be a long podcast. We are getting faster and faster towards Christmas and the New Year. And with a shortened trading week, why not make it a shorter podcast? The $1,000 challenge, I know a few of you have been waiting for my words on this. I still sit in NEO, and NEO had a little bit better week last week than the week before. But still sitting in the loss. NEO ended Friday at 484. I bought it 510. The $1,000 challenge is currently sitting at $2,768. So yes, we are up from 1,000 to 2,768, but this is going very slow lately. I hope I will report something more and better next week, that NEO will go up, because I will, as I said, be sitting in NEO still. I think the stock is heavily undervalued. But the issue right now in terms of NEO is conflicts with China, and Trump said that he will increase all sorts of tariffs, and that makes investors rather go for Tesla, which was the choice was between Tesla and NEO, and stupid me, I went for NEO when I should have gone for Tesla, but at least it was a somewhat correct sector to be in. If you are a Tesla investor, I believe Tesla will just continue upwards. It might fall a little bit back after a good upturn. It might fall back, but Tesla should, in the long term, be at a much better place than previously. This has not so much to do with the election. It has to do with the fact that in the future, it will be electrical vehicles. That is where we are heading. As I argued over and over again, I was the first to say that they were overhyped. Remember back when Tesla was 2,500, this will be doom and gloom. Very right about that. NEO was up at $50-60. It was insane. But when they started to fall and really fall hard back, and in this timeline, you also have to understand that all logistics are getting better. The cars are getting cheaper to build. They get their technology in order. They produce more cars. Lower the cost, the financing is getting better. Tesla is making money, NEO is very close to making money, but they are going for the huge market share. And in the future, we have to go towards electric, And even in the country where I'm right now, Lithuania, more and more people start to talk seriously about electric vehicles simply because the range is getting longer, infrastructure is being built, and then it's a lesser threshold to buy electric vehicle. Again, we have to work with pollution, especially in cities. Here will electric vehicle be, and all these things argue for, despite whoever is elected, that electric vehicle are back to come. So I'm heavily invested into EVs, and I hope that my bet is correct. Still staying in EV, still staying in NIO for the next week, and I will, of course, if I sell it, post it on YouTube so you can see if I sold it. Before I buy anything else, you will be the first to know. I will end this podcast saying that during weekend I had one detecting trip. I love metal detecting. It's my hobby. I argue and tell everyone to have a nice hobby. It helps you a lot, and my hobby is metal detecting. Winter is getting close. On Saturday I moved out. It was maybe 5-10 centimeters of snow, but I knew that the forest, the ground will still be soft. I was lucky. I was finding 3 very beautiful silver coins. I might even post a picture on YouTube so you can watch it. If you are on the Spotify version, you will find it on the YouTube version. I will try to remember to add the coins. I had a super good weekend. I hope you had a good weekend. More than anything, I hope that you will have a good, strong week in the market, and when we speak next week, your portfolio will be much greener. Until then, just have a super week. Bye.
Welcome to StockInvest.us Stock Analysis. We remind you that trading involves a high risk of losing money, and that you should speak with a financial advisor before buying or selling any securities. You should not base your investment decision upon StockInvest.us. By using the information, you agree and are held liable for your own investment decisions.